About 12:06 this afternoon, CHP dispatch received a call of flooding on the eastbound 8, just west of Marina Taylor. And upon arrival of our units a few minutes later, determined there was water coming out of the ground on the right shoulder and number 4 lane of traffic. Within a few minutes, the officer determined it was unsafe, and we shut down the freeway for all motorists heading eastbound. West of this location, all ramps leading to eastbound 8 from the 5 and from any ramps west of the actual water has been shut down. Right now, until the water is turned off, Caltrans is unable to determine the length of the closure or length of the repairs it's going to take to fix the damage.
So we could be looking through literally the afternoon rush then?
Potentially, yes. My guess, I mean, if we had one the other, probably last year sometime, and it closed down the roadway, at least most of it for a significant amount of time.
How long? I didn't catch that.
No timeline right now. I mean, they can't make a determination until the water is completely shut off. Once the water is shut, then we'll be able to make a more accurate determination on the length of the closure.
And what time is that going to be? When are you planning to have it shut
off? The water's been trying to be shut off right now. It's not working. It hasn't happened yet. So until that happens, then they can make their assessment.
A lot of traffic here on Hotel Circle North. Is this obviously one of the alternatives for
This is one of the detour routes. I would say this is the last ditch effort. If you've gotten this far and this is your only means of getting east, then this is going to be your route. My recommendation is to do it before you get down to the I-8. So whether you're cutting across on the 52, the 56, even if you go south to the 94, whatever you need to do to get east, but avoid the I-8.
That far, the 94?
Well, it's the only way you're going to get east from here. Instead, if you're at this point, maybe taking the 5 down to the eastbound 94 might be your best bet.
So were there any cars that were damaged as a result? Did any car drive through and get caught in the geyser? Can you tell us a little bit?
As of right now, we don't believe I don't believe there's any other vehicles that were involved. Just we got the reports of the flooding. When our units got out here, we determined it was a large leak, and there was a hole starting to be created by that water coming out of the ground.
How large is that hole right now?
How big is the hole?
I don't have the actual size. Again, it's hard to tell too with the water still coming out. Once we shut down the water, then it'll be a little easier to see. But again, right now it's unclear how big it actually is.
Are you currently operating just on the number 1 lane right now, the far left lane?
Right now, the entire freeway is heading
heading
eastbound.
Those cars through. That's all it was.
Whoever was kind of stuck in the queue was let through. Again, we don't know how far or the extent of the damage, how far it's gone north through the other lanes. So again, they have to make sure it's safe before they can let cars pass.
How great is the distance for the freeway closure?
As far as
the miles
from the 5, basically technically from Sports Arena. If you're trying to get on eastbound 8, they're forcing everybody to the 5 south. So basically from the 5 over, nobody can enter the freeway until you get past this sinkhole.
Any plans of shutting down westbound 8 as well?
Again, it all determines on the length or the extent of the damage and how far underneath the water or the ground has been compromised.
So Jake, it's from the 5 to the Hotel Circle. Where is it?
So just west of where we're standing right now, Rory. So it's going to be west of the Hotel Circle exit and east of Taylor, right in the middle there. So we're talking, if you're east of Taylor, you're good. So if you're on the 163 or anything east of the 163, you're totally fine. You're going to get away from this. It's anybody coming from the west that's going to have a problem.
So it's from the 5 to Taylor.
Exactly.
And
From the Hotel Circle.
To a Hotel Circle.
And that's what, about 2 miles?
Roughly 2 miles. But again, this is a main artery for commute. This is a main artery for many San Diegans trying to get home after work. The biggest thing right now is understand that this is something for your safety. We want you to be pack your patience as much as possible. It's going to be a longer commute than normal today, no matter what freeway you're on trying to get east. Obviously, the other freeways are going to see a greater impact of traffic based upon the closure on the I-8.
Yeah, if you could, officer, talk about that. I mean, we're coming off of the 5. So obviously, as you said, if they're not coming this way, they're going to probably have to turn back around, or it's just going to be plugged, and they're going to have to take either the 5 north.
Potentially, depending on, again, it all depends on where you're going or where your final destination is trying to be. So again, in some cases, it might be better for you to go south to hit the 94. It all depends on where they're trying to get to. But if you're already here to the 8, you're going to have to make that determination whether you want to sit in some slower traffic on these city streets or try to take one of the freeways, alternate freeways going east.
So even when you get it shut off, you get a better look. We don't know how long this is going to take. We still don't know how long the freeway's going to take to be fixed.
Exactly.
As soon as you shut it down.
Once they shut down the water, there could be a potential of opening up a few lanes. Again, it just depends on the extent of the damage underneath. So if that, I mean, literally, we could even have a closure going westbound if it's that, if there's that much damage underneath.
And why does it take so long? It's taking like an hour, 2 hours to shut it down, and then you have to kind of look at the damage and then decide.
Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you on. I mean, that's just out of my my expertise. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you what else I could tell you. But all I know is that the water's coming out. Again, it could have been shut off while we're standing here talking. I don't know. Once that happens, Caltrans will make an assessment on the safety of the roadway. Once that assessment's been made, we'll determine whether we're going to open up a lane, 2 lanes, or how long we're going to have to shut down the entire freeway.
Have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, we've had sinkholes before, and on roads and all sorts of things.
Like I said, the closest one we had was, I'd say last year, sometime on near college. Yes.
Right.
So it was on the right shoulder, large sinkhole. That dropped down pretty far, about a 12-foot deep hole. It took a while for Caltrans. Again, at that point, though, we were able to open up at least some of the traffic going eastbound. So I believe only 2 lanes were shut down. In this case, again, until the water's off, we can make a better assessment at that point.
Seems like on that one it was completely off the road. This one it seems like it's half and half. It's off the road.
On the shoulder and
Right.
in that number lane. And I believe that other one at college, again, was also partially in that number 4 lane. Again, I don't remember exactly how far over, but it was, again, this is pretty similar to what that one was.
So this is partially on the number 1 lane, is that correct?
Number 4. So if
Number
we're
four.
counting number 1 from the left,
Yeah.
all the way over to the right, number 4 lane, and then the right shoulder.
Now, is this a Caltrans situation to fix? Do you know, or if the city is involved?
Again, I don't know whose pipe that is underneath. I believe it's the city's pipe, but Caltrans obviously is responsible for the roadway on the freeway. So again, we're working together with the city and the state to try to fix this as quickly as possible.
So have they been trying to shut down the water since this first happened? So at least like 2 hours, you'd say?
At least. So it's 12:06 is when the call came out.
So there's a potential threat of this sinkhole expanding?
Again, it's unknown right now. I couldn't tell you if it's gaining any more damage based upon. I can only assume that the longer the water's on, the more damage is occurring. So as soon as they shut that down, we'll have a better assessment.
And at this point, your information is that the source of this leak is a broken water main below the surface.
Yeah, a water pipe below the surface of the freeway and Hotel Circle.
CHP officer.
Arian, last name Collins, Collins, supervising public information officer with the city of San Diego.
So what happened, Arian?
About 9:30 this morning, we received a report of a water main break near the intersection of Morena and Savannah Streets. And once we got there, we had calls of other water main breaks. At this point, we've confirmed 4 water main breaks in the city, 3 on Morena and 1 here off Hotel Circle at Interstate 8.
So was this a chain reaction? Are they all related? Or can you talk about that, Arian?
Yeah, we're not sure exactly, but our theory is that it is related in some way. One probably triggered another, and it's just the change in water pressure probably just triggered one after another, and we are at the situation we have now.
When we have water main breaks, you shut down the water, and I don't know that there's a chain reaction or one triggers the other. Is this unusual?
It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen occasionally. It's just sometimes the water pressure, and if the integrity of the pipe itself has problems, then it can result in more water main breaks.
Can you tell us, do you know anything about the pipes and how old they are?
I can't tell you about the one here on Hotel Circle, but I do know the one on Morena Boulevard was installed in 1956. It is cast iron, and it is scheduled to be replaced by the year 2023.
So was it one iron pipe that had 3 ruptures on Morena?
Well, it's different segments of the same pipeline.
So then would the segment under the freeway here, is that the same pipeline of the Morena, and is it kind of the same age frame?
Well, no, it's not the same pipeline. This one, it's my understanding, is an 8-inch diameter. The one on Morena Boulevard is a 16-inch diameter water main.
So there's 2 pipes we're talking about, the 16-inch and the 8-inch, and the 8-inch is on Hotel Circle.
That's correct. There's 2 different pipelines, but everything is interconnected. So if you have a water pressure change, it can affect the whole system.
Isn't there some sort of fail-safe for this type of scenario?
Normally there is, and that's part of the investigation that'll be going on after we get everything repaired.
What are the impacts to the businesses in the Morena district?
Right now we have several blocks of Marina Boulevard out of water. I don't know how many at this point. Originally there were 2, but as more breaks occurred, more blocks were affected. Most of those are businesses. Once we have this one shut down on Hotel Circle, likely we'll have several hotels out of water and restaurants as well.
What are the 2 businesses? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
The 2 businesses that you know for sure have no water. Do you know what those are?
No, there are many businesses that don't have water on Marina Boulevard. There were 2 blocks originally.
Have those leaks or ruptures on Morena Boulevard been fixed or plugged?
I'm sorry.
Has the leak on the 3 leaks on Morena Boulevard, have those been addressed and fixed?
They're working on them right now. They're shut down, but the repairs are not complete yet. We'll probably be working throughout the night on all of these water main breaks. Every available crew member throughout the city for the Public Utilities Department is working on these water main breaks right now.
So can you tell us a little bit about the sinkhole? How big is it? So forth and so on. Has the water been shut off? How long will it take?
Are you referring to the freeway itself?
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a lot of details. I really have to defer to the state officials on that. We are working closely with Caltrans and the Highway Patrol, but what the integrity is of the freeway, I do not know.
And you don't know how long it takes to turn off the water to that sinkhole?
Usually we can shut them down within an hour. This one we're having a particular problem with as far as one of the gate valves. So they have to go farther away and shut off other gate valves, and eventually we'll get it shut down. Hopefully within the hour.
Is this the same line as the line out by State that failed a year ago?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
You know, when you say 1956, can you give me a cast iron? That's old?
Well, we were using cast iron in the 20s and 30s, and we started switching to concrete in the 1950s, and then PVC in 1970s. So it was state of the art at the time, but obviously not anymore.
So Arian, you said there were 3 breaks on Morena. Morena, Frankfurt, Morena, Savannah. What's the third one?
Frankfurt, Knoxville, and Savannah. So those are the ones I've been told.
This one. So somehow the breaks on Morena triggered this one.
That is our theory at this point. Our theory is that one water main break caused another, and it just it's sort of a domino theory. But we don't know for sure. Once we do the investigation, we'll have a better idea. But at this point, it looks like they're all related in some way.
Were you surprised to learn that there was no, I think you call it a safety valve?
Fail-safe.
Fail-safe. Were you surprised to learn that there was no fail-safe system here? Because it's part of the investigation. Is that a...
No, I didn't say there is no safe valve. Usually, we can shut these down fairly quickly. There's a problem with one of the valves, and we don't know what the problem is, but it's just not shutting off the water main. And once we get that shut down,
The question was, Sai had asked the question because then you have a break over there, and then you have a rupture that goes onto the hotel. Was there a fail-safe system? You said that was part of the investigation. My question is...
there's pressure regulators, and there may have been a problem with one of the pressure regulators. We don't know at this point. We'll be able to tell that once the investigation is concluded. Right now, we're all focused on just getting the water main shut down and repaired. So, you know, the theories and all that sort of thing are just theories at this point. We don't know.
What's a good guesstimate or estimate on your part as to when the repairs will be, or at least we have the water shut down?
We hope to have the water shut down within the hour. Actual repairs, it's probably going to take all night at least.
Any estimate on how much water has been lost so far?
No, that has not been calculated yet.
Can you tell us what the 3 Marina Boulevard breaks are? Because we know 2 of them.
Knoxville, Savannah, and Frankfurt.
And I know you already said this, the businesses in Morena and the houses, do you have any idea of the impact on the water?
I know there are quite a few blocks on Marina Boulevard. I don't know exactly how many at this point, but I know that there are several that are out of water and are out of water service, and they will remain out of water service until we repair all the water mains.
And houses too, residences?
I don't think any houses are affected, but there may be residences on Marina Boulevard that I just don't know of.
What about the hotels in this area, Arian? Are they also affected?
Yeah, several of the hotels will be affected once the water main is shut down. They may be experiencing low pressure now. I don't know, but once the water main is shut down, several hotels will be out of water.
And will
anything done to help them out?
Yeah, we'll be doing whatever we can. We'll be working with the managements of all the hotels, bringing in water wagons, and we'll do what we can.